getting here today will never get a chance to make. Make sure your steering wheel is centered properly. Cinch up the seatbelts. The ARCA RE Series is next here on Speed. And welcome to Nashville Superspeedway, just east of Nashville, Tennessee. The ARCA RE Series is on Speed. Today it's the Waste Management 200. And hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin, joined by two-time ARCA RE champ Bill Venturini. Don Radebaugh on pit road for us today. Second trip of the year to Nashville Superspeedway. And Bill, the times we've been here, this has always been a race that's about handling. What about today?
Today, I got to tell you, grip is not a problem. Hoosier brought a tire that's excellent. Good grip. It'll run the whole fuel mileage run. So tire's not a problem. Grip's not a problem. We didn't see one incident the whole day in 2 days of practice.
Historically, here in practice and qualifying, several cars have gotten into the wall. Nothing like that this weekend.
Not at all. It's just been a perfect weekend. Like I said, grip's been great. The cars are handling good. No one's complaining about problems.
Well, the story in qualifying, some of the familiar names are at the front of the grid, but one key name won't get to start there. Let's get the front row story downstairs to Don Radebaugh.
Well, thanks, Rick. Like all ARCA RE Series events, there's always lots of big stories. Frank Kimmel most often is the biggest. He qualified for the pole, his fifth pole at Nashville, his fifth in 6 attempts here at Nashville. However, Frank blew the motor in happy hour and will have to go to the tail end. That's the story from the back end. How about this story from the front end? Outside pole qualifier, Christy Passmore. Wow, you obviously have a great race car. How good is it? Can you stay up front all day long?
We got a really good race car for today, and I think we could stay up front. Pit strategy is going to come in today, but the guys are doing great. I think everything will go good.
Well, I think the gal's doing great as well. That's Christy Passmore, her career best ARCA finish 8th. Where? Nashville Superspeedway back in April of this year.
Well, let's take a look at the points table after 13 races in the 22-race championship. Kimmel with more than 600 points on Jason Jarrett, but from second back, it's pretty tight, Bill.
255 points between second and sixth.
Mark Gibson sitting in the top 5. Brent Sherman, a young gun, a guy who's on his way up. And there's Christy Passmore in front of the veteran Andy Belmont. Back downstairs, plenty more going on the grid as we get set to take the green. Let's bring back in Don Radebaugh.
Well, thanks, Rick. Like any ARCA event, they seem to pick up their share of local talent over the course of the year. Lots of local flavor here, including Daryl Sage, who qualified third, but with Frank Kimmel going to the tail end. This Nashville resident will start from the pole in only your third attempt. How good is your race car, Daryl? Can you win this race?
Yeah, it was really good in happy hour, so we'll see what happens here in a few minutes.
All right, a man, a few words. He'll do most of his talking, hopefully, from the race car. His best finish in 3 attempts, 5th, Nashville Superspeedway.
He was plenty good back here in the spring. A driver who raced in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series at the old Nashville Fairgrounds back in the 80s. We'll be back to set the starting lineup when we continue here on Speed. Today's Speed Channel coverage of the ARCA RE Series being brought to you by RE/MAX, outstanding agents, outstanding results. And by Gladiator Garage Works, a division of Whirlpool Corporation. Gladiator Garage Works, it's time to rethink the garage. The engines have fired on pit road at Nashville Superspeedway. 40 cars and drivers getting set to do battle. There's Mario Goslin in car number 12. We'll take a ride, of course, with Frank Kimmel today. As well, we'll take a ride with Ken Weaver in car number 96. Let's show you the starting lineup. Kimmel qualifying on the pole in his familiar Advance Auto Parts Pork the Other White Meat Ford. Alongside Christy Passmore from Pryor, Oklahoma. We talked to her a moment ago, the Gap Roofing Ford. Second row, he will move up to start inside row 1. Daryl Sage from Nashville, the Mertco Chevrolet, the 29. And Super Mario Goslin from Quebec, Canada, the McAfee Mortgage Chevrolet.
Inside row 3, the number 95 Sailor Brothers Ford, David Keith out of Owensboro, Kentucky. And next to him, Jason Jarrett in the 67 Gladiator Garage Works, Damon RV Chevrolet. Inside row 4, Clint Boyer from Emperor, Kansas in the Sonic Drive-Thru Pontiac. And next to him, Shelby Howard out of Greenwood, Indiana in the Mack Trucks Beck Dodge.
Row number 5 on the inside, Doug Stevens. That's the Jasper Engines Ford, the 71. Young gun Brent Sherman in the top 10 in points out of North Barrington, Illinois. That is the 44 car, the Serta Mattress Ford. 6th row, Tandy Marlin from Franklin, Tennessee, one of Sterling's cousins, the Tapes and Technical Solutions Dodge. And veteran Wayne Anderson from Wildwood, Florida, the TC Motorsports Chevrolet.
Inside row 7 in the number 90 EMP Stewart's Components Ford, Jason Hedleski out of Michigan. And next to him, Keith Mert out of Paducah, Kentucky in the Mertco Chevrolet. Inside row 8, Josh Weston, a hometown boy out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Next to him, Clint Valschholz out of Woodland Park, Colorado, in the Valschholz Ford.
Row number 9, Andy Belmont, the veteran from Pendle, Pennsylvania. That's the Verizon Ford. Mike Worth is from Charlotte, North Carolina, the Testa and Worth Construction Ford. 10th row, Mark Gibson from Winder, Georgia. He's got a victory this year. He'll start on the inside of the 19th spot. That's the Williams Brothers Lumbers 59 car. And Billy Venturini out of Chicago, Illinois, the Enco Tools Gladiator Garage Works, number 25.
Inside row 11 in the number 50 Tell City Pretzel Ford, Brad Payne out of Philpott, Kentucky. Next to him, Bill Eversole out of Michigan in the Think Pink Energy Drink Chevrolet. Inside row 12 in the 96 Pontiac, Ken Weaver out of Dallas, Texas in the 1-800-4-PHONE Pontiac. Next to him, Ron Cox out of Soddy Daisy, Tennessee in the Peterson Fluid System Chevrolet. Everybody loves to say that.
Oh, yeah. Take you back to row 13. Young Ty Bowser from Springfield, Ohio, the GFS Marketplace Ford. Jarrett Johnson, first-timer from Faribault, Minnesota, the OTC Tools Pontiac car number 38. Row 14, Kim Crosby's back, the school principal from Slidell, Louisiana. That's the Golden Flake Chevrolet. And Brian Kahns from Livonia, Michigan, the Precision Cutter 6 car. That, too, is a Monte Carlo.
Inside row 15 and number 83 Collender Racing Ford, Chris Collender out of Beaumont, Texas. Next to him, Mike Buckley out of Ann Arbor, Michigan in the Phoenix Contractor Chevrolet. Row 16, Carl McCormick, the number 48 Hilton Motorsports Ford. And next to him, Norm Benning out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the Tobin's RV Boat Cleaner Chevrolet.
17th row, car number 56 for Alan Patterson from Abbeville, South Carolina, the Jan Gibson Chevrolet. Jerry Middleton in the Deuce, the Surpro Chevrolet. Next row, the 18th row, Randy Ainsworth with a provisional start in his own Pontiac from Excelsior Springs, Missouri. And the veteran Chuck Weber from Mesquite, Texas, the Cardinal Tool Chevrolet.
Inside row 19, Brad Smith out of Dearborn, Michigan, the number 26 ProTech Lighting Ford. Next to him, Darrell Basham out of Henryville, Indiana, in the Basham Racing Chevrolet. And rounding out the field in the last row, car number 06, Jimmy Thiel out of Woodhaven, Michigan. And next to him, Tim Mitchell out of Fayetteville, Tennessee, in the Benning Motorsports Chevrolet.
So a full field of 40 cars and drivers. Bill Venturini as we take a look at our race analysis here at Nashville Superspeedway. Second trip of the year for the ARCA RE series here. Does it get easier when you come to a place like this the second time?
Oh, man, does racing ever get easier? Yes, it does. You've got some notes to go off of from when you were here in April or whenever you're here in the spring. But it's different. The racetrack, we've got a different tire, which changes the whole characteristic of the car. The grip is much better. The weather's different. So, yeah, you have some notes, but you got to definitely tweak them an awful lot to make the car work.
But the tire change probably the biggest thing.
Biggest thing was the tires.
As you saw, 81 degrees, but 60% humidity. The feels-like index has to be well into the 90s. We'll ride with Ken Weaver out of Texas. His Pontiac starts 23rd today. Driver who's got a lot of experience in various forms of motorsport. He's had a couple of good ARCA runs.
Yeah.
And, of course, we'll drive as well with Frank Kimmel in his Advanced Auto Parts Pork the Other White Meat Ford. Qualified first, has to drop to the back for the start.
I almost want to say this. Frank planned this because he's going to make it exciting. Sure enough, we got an in-car camera, and we're going to go from the back to the front.
Getting ready to go green. Quickly downstairs to Don Radebaugh.
Guys, just wanted to get you up to speed on Mario Goslin. This is the same car that they wrecked at Pocono. That was 2 weeks ago. They replaced the whole right side, put a front clip on it. The rear end housing was bent. They blew the motor there. They got the motor back on Wednesday. They left Florida on Thursday, got here 2 hours before the gate opened, didn't even bother getting a motel. They are road-ridden and ragged, yet they were quickest in happy hour. Keep an eye on the McAfee Mortgage Chevrolet with St. Marie, Quebec driver aboard, Mario Goslin.
Well, you know Mario is not a rookie at this.
No.
He ran the Hooters Pro Cup Series for many years, was a champion there. This guy's a true racer. He eats, sleeps, and breathes racing.
It's good to see him here. He makes infrequent visits to the ARCA RE Series. He's certainly a plus to have on hand. Hooters Pro Cup star, as you mentioned. He's raced in the NASCAR Busch Series and the Truck Series a little. He is the Florida Pro late model champion, and that's a very tough local series.
He even has some articles in Stock Car Racing Magazine. I've noticed when they do some tech things, it's in Mario's shop. He's a sharp guy.
We'll see how well he can put that 12 car to the front or how quickly he can today. Kimmel from the back of the field in the 46. He is dropping back there, having gone down through pit road. One quick stop. They'll top him off with fuel, I bet, here.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm not sure. They're going to the right side of the car. They're looking at something, but they are just topping it off. That's a smart move because he's got to start last anyhow. So he's just gained 2 laps on the rest of the field. Actually, mileage-wise, that's 1 lap. 2 yellow laps equal 1 green flag race.
But that could make all the difference.
But
151 laps here to make the 200 miles on a 1 1/3 mile track. And Bill, you were thinking that perhaps you could do it on one side.
Mileage-wise, you can. But yellow flag-wise and pit strategy-wise, man, you'd have to have it just about perfect. You know, you can run maybe 107, 107 miles right in that area on a tank of fuel. Your yellows would have to fall just perfect to make it a 1-stop.
Ken Weaver from the 12th row inside in that Pontiac, car number 96. We will ride with Weaver as well. Hot day here today, and of course you've got the white surface of the racetrack. What's it like here in the summer sun?
It doesn't affect the racetrack as much the concrete does. You know, when you're on asphalt, oh my gosh, the sun makes the car totally loose or tight wherever you're at, and cloud cover does. Asphalt, concrete, it's not affected as critical.
Safety car is in, 151 laps, 200 miles to go at Nashville. Glad to have you with us today on Speed for the ARCA RE Series. Daryl Sage from inside row 1 brings him up through the gears, and we are underway.
3 wide going into the first corner already.
David Keith in that Sadler Brothers Ford, the 95, ducking through. He snuck around Sage. Keith is a guy who's won on the super speedways.
Yeah, David Keith's a veteran here, and he knows how to run fast. Let me tell you, he's always been in good equipment, and he's in good equipment today.
The Sadler Brothers car usually very strong. Passmore settles into second in that orange and white 91. Third belongs to Daryl Sage. That's the black number 29. Goslin tucks into fourth in the 12. Here Key comes on the bottom. He wants to take Sage on the inside.
Yeah, Mario was, like you said, he was the fastest car in happy hour. He's been good everywhere he goes, though. It's not just here.
Had problems in Pocono a couple of weeks ago.
David Keith just went, when he went into 1 and 2, he was like 2 car widths way too high getting into the corner.
Ride with Frank Kimmel here, making his way from 40th on the charge after lap number 1. Swinging around the 83 of Chris Komalander, who started 29th. Pressure on David Keith. Here comes Goslin in that 12 on the bottom. Gets by Passmore for second spot. Keith making a very rare ARCA start these days, but with a pretty good team. The Sadler brothers have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, they've been around almost as long as I have.
Onto the back straightaway at Nashville. Daryl Sage in the 29 started inside the front row because Kimmel had to drop to the rear. He's in front of Jason Jarrett there in the Biomet 67, the Chevrolet from the ML Motorsports shop. And there's young Shelby Howard in the 64, the yellow car up high. He's won 2 ARCA RE events this year.
Yeah, he's a good young up-and-coming star in the series.
Sage now on the bottom of Christy Passmore, battling for third. He'll get by. And here's Goslin on the bottom in car number 12. Mario Goslin down the back straightaway gets by David Keith. So a lead change, first one of the day here at Nashville. David Keith will settle in, I think, and ride a little bit now.
You know, I think everyone probably should just settle and ride right about now. You know, everyone's kind of got single file right now. You know, Kimmel has, broken from the back runners in the back of the field. Now he's starting to chase the middle of the pack guys, and he's closing quick.
Kimmel up to 27th last time by after dropping back to 39th on the start. Your leader is Mario Goslin out of Quebec, Canada. Has a shop though here in the States. Keith is second. Side by side, Jason Jarrett to the bottom. He wants to get fourth away from Christy Passmore. Right in line next is the 5 car, Clint Boyer from Emporia, Kansas. He's a first-time ARCA RE Series driver, but he is a veteran of the short tracks. I-70 Speedway's late model champion 1 year ago in the Kansas City suburbs. And Boyer in that 5, settling into 6th position. But Mario Goslin opens up a good lead. 5 laps are on the board. We'll be back at Nashville. Welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway in Nashville, Tennessee. Alongside Bill Venturini, I'm Rick Benjamin. Coverage of the ARCA RE Series on Speed. Early in the going, 9 laps complete. Your leader, Mario Goslin, in that car number 12. After a tough weekend at Pocono in Pennsylvania a couple of weeks back, he has come on strong here in the early going, Bill. Is he using the car too much?
I don't know, but he's like laying him down or standing him up and mowing him down. He's not taking any chances. He's just going to the front. He's in the front, but he's not even laying back. He's just full throttle right now.
Let's check in on 4-time series champion Frank Kimmel. There was the quick qualifier this weekend. Blew a motor in happy hour practice, not in happy hour. Had to change the engine, start from the back. Where's the 46 now? Well, he's up to 23rd. So in 10 laps, he's passed 16 cars.
That's not too bad.
Not bad at all.
It's going to get a little tougher as he goes a little further up the field because now he's going to be racing with a little faster cars. But You know, like Frank's using his head. There's no reason for him to charge up and take any unnecessary chances right now.
Swinging outside the 0-8 of Bill Eversole on the back straightaway. The Think Pink Energy Drink Chevrolet. Kimmel up on the high side, just taking his time. He knows he's got time on his side, most definitely. Next up in line, the 38th car. New entry here with the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Jarrett Johnson from Faribault, Minnesota, in that black machine. And Kimmel starting to reel him in. He'll turn to the bottom. The 7 automobile. That's the car Flint Voschholz out of Colorado. Voschholz, a veteran of Winston West and the Pikes Peak Hill Climb. Meantime, toward the front of the field, Darrell Sage now starting to put a move on David Keith at the 95. That's Sage on the bottom in that black Chevrolet, the 29. And Sage sweeps by Keith going down into 1. So the driver who brought him to green has gotten back up to 2nd spot. Downstairs to Don Radebaugh.
Now, since you were on the subject of Darrell Sage, I wanted to add a little. You know, he has Winston Cup starts back in the mid-'80s with a career best Winston Cup finish of 15th at Nashville. He finished 2nd in Nashville Fairgrounds late model point standings twice on the weekly tour there. 2nd to a guy by the name of Bobby Hamilton and a gentleman by the name of Mike Alexander, whom I'm sure many of you recognize. In fact, Bobby Hamilton was very instrumental in getting Darrell Sage race ready for Nashville Superspeedway through the course of this summer. Again, this is just his 3rd start. He finished 5th here in the spring and looking good here today.
Trouble meantime for the 6th car. Brian Kahns from Livonia, Michigan, the Precision Cutter Chevrolet. Power off on the race car, and he is headed toward pit road. Here comes Gosselin to put another lap on the board. He's got a substantial advantage. Gosselin's lead last time by more than a second over Darrell Sage.
Yeah, he's just kind of pulling away. I think now, I think his brother is probably telling him, because his brother's on the radio, just, all right, settle down, don't worry about it.
Gosselin in that good-looking 12 car. Brian Cohn's heading to pit road in the 6. Looks like he may be done. That car did not have its motor running when he dove off the backstretch onto the access road.
Boy, look, we had to really go pretty wide angle to see 2nd place there.
Yeah, it's a long way back to Sage. In fact, now he's 2 seconds back, and 1 car has gotten into the wall. A couple of cars involved. That's the 90 of Jason Hedleski, Junie Donlevy's Ford, with the Stewart components backing on that car for a couple of races in the ARCA RE/MAX Series. Hedleski took a hard lick, it looks like. The car's still rolling, but there's been contact on the racetrack, and we're under caution for the first time today. The 89 car also involved. The Testa Mike Worth machine. Mike Worth out of Charlotte, and he has wrinkled up the left side of that car pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, that's not when you flat side the left side, that's pretty bad. And I'm glad to see. I think I see him moving around in the car.
Yep.
That's a good sign.
You can see the steam coming from the overflow area on the right front corner of the hood. And Mike Worth moving around inside the car, so the safety crew will get to him. This happened over in turn 2. Didn't see the contact that started it all. We saw the aftermath. Hedleski in the 90, Worth in the 89. Let's take another look. We've got some tape to show you. On board with Kimmel going down into the corner. That was the 89. Looked like it broke loose.
Yeah,
it got up into the wall.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if the number 90 got into him from there. Let's see if we can see from a different angle.
They're working with the 89 and Mike Worth. Thought we had a couple of other views to show you. We'll try to get those in just a moment. Meantime, the safety crew over to attend to Mike Worth out of Charlotte in car number 89. And there is the 90, the Stewart Components Ford. Junie Donlevy fielding that car for his team manager, Jason Hedleski. Looks like they are done for the day. Several cars headed to pit road. 16 are complete. We'll be back in Nashville. Back on speed, the ARCA RE/MAX Series at Nashville Superspeedway. First caution of the day tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Be sure to join us for coverage of the FIA World Rally Series, the Rally of Finland. Tomorrow night at 9, exclusively here on Speed. You know who's over there for that? Jeff Hammond is over there.
No way.
He is. Larry McReynolds was telling me last week when we were doing Speed News that they had sent Hammond to that. I can't wait to see what he's come up with from there. There's what happened. Jason Hedleski got into the back of Keith Mertz's car.
Yeah, but that's because the number 89 car had already spun, and I think Keith Mertz saw it, checked up. Jason Hedleski didn't have time to check up, and he ran into the back of Keith Mertz.
So the 89, Worth had spun all by himself.
Right, I think he spun first.
So both cars on the hook, and their days are done, unfortunately. This has been a huge weekend for the ARCA RE/MAX Series here in Nashville. RE/MAX announcing they'll stay on board as the title sponsor of the series for 2 more seasons. Randy Morse, the vice president of RE/MAX, spoke about it yesterday.
We are very pleased today to announce at an early date that RE/MAX International and ARCA are extending our agreement through 2004 and 2005, another 2 years. In a time of considerable change in the motorsports arena, we're very pleased to continue our partnership with ARCA, and we're very pleased that ARCA continues to establish its niche with the industry, and we hope that today's announcement magnifies the consistency of the ARCA RE/MAX series. We've been very pleased with the return on our investment over the last 3 years, which allows us to go ahead and make this announcement earlier than normal.
Ron Drager, the ARCA president, shaking hands with Randy Morse after completing their deal for a renewal of the RE/MAX Real Estate Company sponsorship for 2 more years. And Hoosier Tire announcing they'll be the series tire supplier for 3 more years. That's a good thing.
Big news for the ARCA guys.
Let's get in another break. We'll be right back at Nashville. 20 laps complete at Nashville. Be sure and get your copy of ARCA 50 Years of Racing, the new 50th anniversary hardcover book that features the complete history of the ARCA series. 300 pages, 600 photos, a must-read for any stock car fan. Call 1-800-546-8788. Get yours today. Bill Venturini will throw in a free autograph.
Yeah, and I'm even in it.
I know you are. More than once as a two-time champion. It's a great book. It's a real pleasure to have that as part of our racing library. A couple of the fast cars here have made pit stops early down Radebach.
Indeed they have, Rick. You know, it's a hot sunny day. Your car will be loose without even trying. The 91 of Christy Passmore and the 46 of Frank Kimmel, both loose race cars. The 91 came in, took 3 turns of bite to help tighten up that race car. She took no tires and some fuel. The 46 took 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment to help tighten them up.
Passmore restarts back in 20th spot. Kimmel back in 22nd. Your leader, Mario Goslin, grabbed the lead from David Keith early. Big wiggle there for Darrell Sage as they hit turn 2.
Yeah, well, you know, when the yellow comes out, your air pressures start to drop again. And sometimes, you know, it depends how you start the race and what kind of air pressures. Air pressures will drop. The car will wiggle for a couple laps. You got to let the air pressures build back up to where you were.
4th spot belongs to that 5 car, the Sonic Restaurants Pontiac. That's young Clint Booyer out of Kansas. He is from the suburbs of Kansas City. He's raced motocross motorcycles, a NASCAR Weekly Racing Series champion last year at I-70 Speedway, making his first Speedway start. And here comes Frank Kimmel up to 19th now and moving by Todd Boucher without any problem at all.
Boy, that was a smart move on Frank. Frank looked to go underneath Norm Benning originally, saw that, I'm not going to take the chance, backed off, waited until he went through the corner, and then went around on the outside.
Kimmel, the 4-time ARCA RE/MAX Series champion, well on his way to a 5th title. He's got a more than 600-point lead right now over Jason Jarrett, who is 2nd in the season standings. Where's Jason Jarrett? 6th on the racetrack. Here's Kimmel, meantime, up to 18th. He gobbled up 4 cars on the last lap. Working on Bill Ebersole, who he had passed once earlier. Good battle here. Young Shelby Howard in the Dodge, the 64. Jarrett in the 67, the ML Motorsports Chevy. Shelby Howard at age 18, 2 victories already this season.
Yeah, you know, he's a good kid, too. You know, runs good equipment, and he uses his head. He's not impatient. Usually when you see an 18-year-old, you worry about them being impatient when they're racing. He hasn't. He showed a good level head in the race car.
Mark Gibson with 1 win, Shelby with 2, Kimmel with 4 in the first 13 races. The rest of the wins, Casey Mears has 3, and he's just a part-timer. Kyle Busch with 2, and Chase Montgomery with 1. Those 3 drivers are not ARCA Series regulars. So among the regulars, Shelby Howard, the 2nd winningest driver on the tour right now, and that's quite an achievement.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Jason Jarrett, meantime, looking for his first win of the year as they battle for 5th through the trioval.
And we're watching a battle right now with Shelby Howard and Jason Jarrett. This is for 5th. And I got to give a little plug here for Jason's crew chief, Scott Eldridge. Just got engaged last night to Lisa Hartzell. Congratulations, Scott.
No better way to celebrate with the trip to victory lane here at Nashville. Todd Boucher to pit road. Meantime, Jason Jarrett underneath Shelby Howard to take over 5th spot. Working lap number 27, 151 laps on this mile and a third concrete racetrack. Make up the 200-lap distance, 200-mile distance here today. And into the corner.
Yeah, you can see Jason's running just a little higher than Shelby Howard is. But as a matter of fact, I was up in the trailer for happy hour and I was watching that. Shelby Howard was able to keep his car a little lower through the center of the corner, but right now. Oh, the number 29.
Yeah, I was trying
Daryl Sage slowing down.
Trying to get the glasses on that car that had pulled down out of the racing groove. The Mertco Chevrolet of Sage, who started from the pole when Kimmel had to drop to the back. He was running second. He's out of power, headed around the access road to pit road. Don Radeball will scamper down to their pit stall, and we'll see what the situation is for the Mertco team. Tough break, though, for Daryl Sage. That moves David Keith back to second spot in the 95. And third, the 5 car, Clint Bowyer out of Kansas at age 24 in his first ARCA RE/MAX start. Give Jason Jarrett 4th then, and Howard 5th, and the 77 of Tandy Marlin is 6th.
I can't tell if the 29 car's is under power or not.
I don't think the car's running. It doesn't look like it's running.
No, he's coming down pit road way too slow right now.
Team ready to jump the wall, and we'll get an update from pit road.
And there's the bad telltale sign. Open the hood.
Daryl Sage has been at this long enough to know if the motor's got anything left, I think, at this point. Keith Mert's crew over the wall to take a look. The ARCA RE/MAX official there as well. Mario Gosselin continues to lead. He's got a big lead over David Keith of about a 1.5 seconds. Don Radeball, what's the situation?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I just got here. Obviously, the hood's been up. They tried to fire the car. It seemed to burst to life for a split second, then shut back off right away. But nobody here is in a big hurry to do much of anything. This usually spells out something terminal. I hope to have a little better information for you here in just a moment.
They'll push the 29 behind the wall. That's Chase Montgomery's team pitting the 29 here today. Meantime, Tandy Marlin in the 77. He's putting pressure on Shelby Howard for 5th spot. He'll go by on the bottom.
Yeah, made that look kind of easy.
Tandy Marlin, one of the many Nashville area drivers, races out of Franklin, Tennessee. Makes infrequent appearances with the ARCA RE/MAX series. Mario Gosselin from Quebec, Canada is your leader, lapping by Norm Benning. We'll be right back at Nashville. Welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway. On speed, the ARCA RE/MAX series, the Waste Management 200 today with Bill Venturini. I'm Rick Benjamin. Don Radeball on pit road. 36 laps complete. Mario Gosselin has everything going his way. He's got a 1.3-second lead over David Keith. Gosselin in that orange and blue number 12, having no problems here in the early going. One driver who was plenty quick in the early laps is behind the wall already. He is with Don Radeball.
Yeah, no doubt the hometown fans are disappointed now. The car was great for a while, not long enough. What happened?
Oh, the car was great. We were just sitting there riding. Took us a few laps to get going when the green flag came back out, but the car was great. Just the motor let down. I mean, the Carl Black Chevrolet Mertco Incorporated car was, I think we had something for them.
How was the heat for you today? Was that a factor or a problem at all?
It wasn't that bad. We've got a cool box in here, and we had it running, and I was just sitting there riding.
Pretty cool driver, too. Unfortunately, his day is done at Nashville.
Yeah, it's great to see Daryl Sage back in one of these ARCA RE/MAX series cars. Your leader, Gosselin, lapping by Keith Mert in the 19, who owns that team.
Well, you know, Keith Mert was involved in that wreck on the first yellow, so I don't know if it's affecting his car or not, because he did get hit in the right rear quarter panel.
There's the 5 car, that Pontiac. Clint Bowyer from Emporia, Kansas, the Sonic Drive-In Mid-America Auto Auctions Pontiac. What a story. 24 years old, first ARCA RE/MAX series start. Bill Venturini, he's 3rd, and he's right behind David Keith for 2nd.
Yeah, young kid. I've never met him till this weekend, you know, and got a good sponsor and a great race car. I got to tell you that right now.
They raced that car at the Kansas Speedway earlier this year. Different driver. The car wrecked. Decided to put Clint Bowyer in that machine. They've got Sonic backing for a couple of races. And, you know, driver who's won a late model title at Lakeside in Kansas at a very early age, a late model title at I-70. He's raced the dirt modifieds, the IMCA modifieds in the Midwest, and the AMA Supercross series a little bit. And that's, you know, you learn control on those Supercross bikes, if nothing else. Very impressive here in Nashville. I can't believe this. He started in the top 10, in fact, qualified 7th. And look at this. He's pressuring Keith for 2nd spot.
Yep. Car's working just great right now. I've noticed some of the cars are starting to slip up, starting to push. His car's not. It's staying right down on the bottom right now. David
Keith, part of the Owensboro, Kentucky racing group that, of course, includes the Waltrip family and the Green family. David now races out of the Charlotte area, and it's good to see him back in the ARCA RE/MAX series. He's won at Daytona, Talladega, and Michigan, if memory serves.
Daytona, Talladega, same type of car in Michigan. All super fast racetracks.
So the battle is for 2nd. Keith in the 95, Bowyer in the 5 car. Your leader remains Gosselin. He's got a 2.2-second advantage on this battle. And what about Frank Kimmel in the 46? We'll show him to you in a moment. He's back in 10th position, but still about 12 seconds behind the leaders. Now, we're not quite to halfway. We've got a ways to go, but Bill, you know, if I'm Kimmel or Bill Kimmel, his crew chief, I'm thinking, hey, what's going on here?
Nah, I don't think I'm worried because he's already pitted once. He's only got to make one more pit stop. Where I'm not sure if these other guys are going to be able to go one, you know, on only one pit stop.
Billy Venturini in the 25. He sits in 13th spot, started 20th, the 97th car right behind him. They're battling for position. And there's the 38, the young driver from Minnesota, making his first start. So a good battle for position there. That 97th car started pretty deep in the field. That's Josh Weston from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, started 15th. Billy Venturini a little high on the racetrack.
That's what I said. I noticed some cars were pushing, and one of them was Billy Venturini. Can't keep the car down, but his car was tight all weekend. I know all weekend long we kept trying to loosen the car up. Thought we got it loose enough, but I guess not. They're going to have to make some adjustments when they come down pit road.
Jimmy Thiel in that 06 started 39th. He's gained 21 spots. He's second on the biggest movers board behind Kimmel. We'll get a look at him a little bit later on, but this meantime is the battle for position a little further back in the field. Venturini starting to give up ground in the 25, the Enco Tool machine this weekend. Right in front of one of the other Pontiacs in the field. That's the 06 car. That's Thiel right there in the 06, who's come from the back of the pack to get up into the top 15. So both these drivers doing a great job today.
Let's see how the car goes through the corner. Now there it stays down pretty low. Coming up, going on through 1 and 2, it stayed low. But as you can see, he didn't lose a lot of ground coming off the corner there.
Don Radebaugh getting to the middle section of this one today. Are you hearing from crews that the cars are picking up a push?
Well, not a whole lot. The only push I got right now, confirmed from crew members, the 44 car. They say they are tight through the middle of the corner. That would be Brent Sherman, the 44 car Brent Sherman. But he just passed the 64 of Shelby for position, so they can't be too terribly tight. But I'm hearing that most of the race cars are loose up and down pit road here today at Nashville, which we might expect with it being so sunny and hot.
Vail in the 06, back in 16th position. Billy Venturini in the 25 car, 15th. They've been passed by the 97 machine, which is definitely a car that's on the move here today. Josh Weston started in 15th. He's up just to 14th, but he had fallen further back than that. That 38 car up in 13th spot. Jarek Johnson from Faribault, Minnesota. First timer with ARCA. The OTC Tools Pontiac started 26th. He's up to 13th, so he's got an excellent run going today.
Well, I got to tell you, you're talking about the 97 car, Josh Weston. His stepfather,
Sandy Jones.
Sandy Jones, yeah, the Winston Cup crew chief, Sandy Jones.
And he's here helping out this weekend. Ron Cox about to go a lap down in that 23 from Soddy Daisy, Tennessee. The leader Goslin in the 12 on the high side. He's led 42 laps of the 45 we run here at Nashville. Goslin just easing around this racetrack. No problem at all. And a great run for Super Mario. Down on the yellow line, heading out of turn 4. A second and a half is his lead over David Keith. Closing in on halfway. We'll be back at Nashville Superspeedway. Be sure to join us here on Speed for the hardest working guy in show business, my good buddy Dave Despain. Wind Tunnel, 9 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Thursday. Call Dave and rant at him, 1-866-W-TUNNEL. He'd love to hear from you. You call that show all the time, don't you, Bill?
You know, I've watched the show. I can't believe this guy, Dave Despain. He knows everything. I don't care what you talk about racing. Bikes, cars, you know. I think he even knows skateboards.
Does he?
This guy's unbelievable.
I've never spoken to him about that.
Unbelievable.
Great show. Wind Tunnel, Monday through Thursday night at 9 Eastern, only here on Speed. On the racetrack, Shelby Howard in car number 64, the 71 of Doug Stevens. They're battling for 8th spot. Shelby Howard, I thought, would turn in a little better run than this today, Bill Venturini.
Well, you know, we can see his car's not sticking to the bottom like he was earlier. He needs to make an adjustment. There's, like I said, there were a couple guys that are slipping and sliding. He's one of them right now.
Doug Stevens out of Lovejoy, Georgia. Jasper Engines and Transmissions backing that 71. Doug doing a nice job. Qualified pretty well. Qualified 9th here this weekend. On board with Frank Kimmel, the 4-time series champion, the points leader again this year. He is up to 7th after lining up back in 39th spot after blowing a motor at practice. Qualified on the pole. They changed the engine. If you're just joining us, he had to drop to the rear for the green. Frank has very methodically been working his way up through the field.
When doesn't he? He's like a surgeon, man. When he starts in the back, he like I said earlier, he was taking his time. You were wondering, how come he's not charging fit? He doesn't need to. And especially with the racetrack, the temperature and the concrete racetrack, he's taking his time.
Shelby Howard in the 64 sits in 8th position. The 21 right behind him, Todd Bowser, the GFS Ford. Todd not on the lead lap at this moment. They have not been on the button here. In fact, he's 3 laps down, 31st in the running order for Todd Bowser. For second spot, Clint Bowyer, the youngster from Kansas, putting a lot of pressure now on David Keith and the Sadler brothers Ford. Keith has been second for a long time.
And he's been giving him pressure for about the last 10 laps.
Yeah, he has. Very impressive run for the 5 team and for Keith, who hasn't driven many races lately.
Yeah, he's been off for a couple years, but you know, well, I shouldn't say that because I haven't been in a race car in a long time, but they say it's like riding a bike. You know, once you get back in, you don't forget. But I do have to say, when you get to be a certain age, like my age, your reflexes are definitely a little slower.
A certain age, you're just a kid.
And as we say that, there goes the pass.
Bowyer goes on by him. That's got to put a lot of smiles on the face of Team Hunter Scott Trailer down on pit road.
It looked like, yeah, it looks like the David Keith car's he's slowing down.
Sure does. Jason Jarrett blasts by the 95, so Jarrett moves up a spot. David Keith back to 4th and off the gas in turn 3. And the word is that the motor may have let go in that car. Don't see any smoke, though, or anything.
No.
He stays up in the groove. Maybe he's dropped the cylinder. If the motor lays down on a race car, certainly you will start backing up. Don Radeball, what's the situation where you are?
Well, we're going to talk about the 91 car, Christy Passmore, who I believe went a lap down. I know she's backing up. The car is very, very loose. Talked to their consultant, Bob Scheck, the 19-time ARCA winner. He says all they're going to do at this point is they're going to try and put a spring rubber in the left rear of the car next time they come down pit road. And Bill Venturini, I'm not sure how time-consuming that can be.
Well, I watched a truck team do it and do a 4-tire change and put a spring rubber in 24 seconds. It takes about 3 seconds to put the spring rubber in, so that should be no problem.
Mike Kimmel in the 46, about to put Christy a lap down. Kimmel up to 7th spot. After starting back in the last row, he blows by Passmore on the bottom going into turn 1. Christy Passmore back in 20th after qualifying on the outside pole. Debris on the racetrack. Piece of sheet metal has fallen off one of the race cars. It's up high by the wall, and that will bring out a caution. Our second yellow of the day, and the wind sucks that up in the air. So
I was going to say, it can be up against the wall, but it's not going to stay there long. There's too much air.
Looks like it might have come off the 19 of Keith Mert.
Let's see if we can see it. Yep. Well, you got to remember, that whole right rear quarter panel was missing off of that car from the earlier wreck.
Yeah.
That looks like an inner, yep, that's an inner piece for inside.
Remember, Mert got tagged by the 89 car, Mike Worth's machine, that brought out the first caution of the day back in the early laps. We're at Nashville Superspeedway under caution. We'll be right back. Back live at Nashville Superspeedway on speed. The ARCA RE/MAX Series under caution for the second time today. And Don Radeball, most of the leaders are headed down pit road, including Mario Goslin.
Waiting on Super Mario Goslin, as they call him back home. These days it's in Lake Wales, Florida. Right now it's pitside at Nashville Superspeedway, where the volunteer crew, you hear that a lot in ARCA competition, goes to work on the right side. He'll take right side tires. Mario very happy with the handle on this race car. As we might expect, it's been up front most of the afternoon. They've taken 1 can of 76 fuel, right side tires on, and now on to the left side. Mario Goslin, if you didn't know, in his career first ARCA RE/MAX Series start, if you remember, back in 1999, won the pole at Charlotte and won the race in just a handful of starts. This cat has been very effective. 4 tires and fuel, he's down and away.
Clint Bowyer, meantime, in the 5, who came to 2nd spot when David Keith had troubles with the motor in the 95. That crew is having some problems with the left side of the car, it looks like. What a shame it would be. Well, they dropped the jack. That is not a regular ARCA RE/MAX Series team, so getting a crew together, practicing pit stops, all of those things are problematic for a team like that.
Well, there aren't many, there aren't a whole lot of teams in ARCA that have a full-fledged blown pit crew that works for them full time. The 67 car does. They've got a good crew going for them, and so does Frank Kimmel. But like Andy Belmont's crew and Billy Venturini's crew. Now I know Shelby Howard's got a good crew, full-time crew. So probably about 5 out of the top 10 have a good full-time crew.
So the caution flag brings a lot of pit stops. It'll jumble the field. Ken Weaver among those headed to pit road at Nashville. Our crew is thrashing in the Speed News newsroom right now, getting set for Speed News tonight at 7 Eastern. Tomorrow, Speed News NASCAR edition at 7 o'clock Eastern, and then Speed News Sunday at 7:30, wrapping up kart, ARCA, and the rest of the week in motorsports. NASCAR Victory Lane at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night, only on Speed.
NASCAR Victory Lane. Everyone's got to watch it. And I got to say hi to my daughter because she works on that program.
That's exactly right.
I got my butt chewed out because I've never said hi to her.
I see her in the building all the time.
Yeah, you see her. That's right.
Just talked to her the other day, as a matter of fact. Getting set for the restart here at Nashville Superspeedway. To begin lap 62, Jason Jarrett, the restart leader in the 67, didn't come to pit road. David Keith right behind him in the 95, but he'll drop down. They've had that motor laid down on him. Brent Sherman in the 44 will move to second. Shelby Howard to third. Mario Goslin restarting in fifth position, and Frank Kimmel right behind him in sixth.
Yeah, look at the 95. Had to pull way out to the inside.
Problems for that 95 under the hood, right, Don Radebaugh?
That's a fact there, Rick. Let's talk to Joey Jones, the crew chief. Joey, what happened to the race car? You falling off noticeably.
Well, the engine picked up a miss about 2 laps before the caution. We're hoping it's just a fuel issue. If not, it looks like it's going to be a valve spring.
And a very long day if that's the case.
Oh, trouble in turn one. Brent Sherman and Mario Goslin get together. Sherman spins the Serta mattresses forward into the wall hard, and the yellow will reappear here at Nashville. Not sure if Mario took the air off his spoiler or if there was a little bit of contact there. So problems for the 95 team. Brent Sherman had a great day going. He was up in the top 3 for that restart. Goslin trying to race by him as they went down into one, and now the 44 radically shortened at this point.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a rear clip. He'll be done for the day.
Sherman able to refire the car and drive it around down onto the access road, but it'd be hard to imagine where the fuel cell is and all that he'd be able to continue. It looks like the rear axles have been moved up a few inches.
Yeah, and you know, very lucky, because usually when a car wrecks rear end wise, you know, back ends to the wall first, especially right after a pit stop, you got to realize that fuel cell in that truck here where I don't see, look right in here.
Yeah, it's there somewhere.
Right in there. There's no room for a 22-gallon fuel cell back there. So that fuel somewhere, it's squished up to the rear end. We're lucky it didn't catch on fire.
Take another look from a different angle.
Oh, he got into him. He looks like he just touched him getting into the corner.
Shelby Howard, very fortunate. He was able to get on the brakes and stay underneath Sherman.
Usually what happens when you hit the wall left rear like that, it'll rip the fuel, the dry brake off the corner of the car. And that's where spray the fuel, right.
Of course, NASCAR just a short time ago announcing that all of the Winston Cup and Busch Series machines would have to carry another fire bottle in the trunk area to help forestall fires in such situations. Another look from Kimmel's car.
Okay, well, I don't want to say we were a little instrumental in that, but I've had that fire bottle in Billy's car for 5 years in the trunk for the fire.
Great idea. Great idea. So Sherman drives his car back to the garage area, but for the young driver from North Barrington, Illinois, tough way to end what was shaping up to be a very good afternoon. Down to pit road, Don Radebaugh.
With David Keith, who is also one of those drivers having an early afternoon. David, what happened?
I guess we lost a valve spring, dropped a valve, something. It just started fluttering right there, and there wasn't no sense staying out and trying to tear the car up. We're not running for points or anything, and just unfortunate. We had a good run going. I feel like we could have been. We were just sitting there riding, you know, in second, and had a good pit stop. And all the guys on the Saturday team's done a great job this weekend. We just need some luck.
Will we see you back on the tour at all this year?
I hope so. If it's up to me, you will. But I don't know. We'll just have to see, play the cards that are dealt us, and we'll just see.
Well, he's had some pretty good cards so far. Winner at MIS, Talladega, and Daytona. David Keith, we know, can get the job done.
Looked like he had a good hand to play here today, but it'll be a short afternoon for the Sadler Brothers team. His bride is with Bank of America.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, he is a fun guy to race with. Good competitor.
Under caution, back with more in Nashville. Today's Speed Channel coverage of the ARCA RE Series being brought to you by Gladiator Garage Works, a division of Whirlpool Corporation. Gladiator Garage Works, it's time to rethink the garage.
Have you ever seen those things?
Oh, they're terrific.
I've got a couple in the shop. They are great.
Had a couple of walks through their trailer. Very, very attractive system. Under caution, Jason Jarrett will be the restart leader. Here's why, going down into turn one.
You know, I don't know who you can say who was at fault there. Two guys were going for the same real estate.
Did Brent Sherman turn down across the front of Goslin's car?
Boy, I can't make that call.
Mario was not inside of him very far. Here's the look from Frank Kimmel's onboard camera.
Yeah, that you can't tell, you know, who was at fault. But Mario was inside, but definitely didn't have the position on him.
Well, Don Radebaugh, that 44 car certainly will need a lot of work before it comes back to the racetrack.
Questions. What we do know is that the car is indeed a mess. Fortunately, Brent Sherman is A-OK. From your angle, Brent, what happened?
First of all, I have to say that the Serta car was running great.
The team has done a great job. This is a new body. We're running second, and you know, it's just a shame. He was behind me. You know, I'm in the points battle. I don't want to do anything stupid that early in the race. He's out here to win a race, and if I would have known he was that far up on my inside, I would have let him go. But you know, to me, all I know is I'm driving along and I get turned sideways and it ends our day, and it's way too early to be out of the race. It's just a shame. I mean, we had a chance, I think, of winning this race. We've run well here in the past, and we were running well. I mean, we were running in second place. We could have made some ground up in the championship, I think, and I'm just very, very disappointed.
I can appreciate that. I can believe that. I think he handled that very well. But Brent Sherman has been effective on the tour so far. He does have 2 runner-up finishes at Kansas and Berlin. Better luck next time for Brent Sherman.
Now, Brent Sherman, a young driver with a great future, 4th in points coming in here today. Is that a case, Bill Venturini, where the communication between Brent and his spotter wasn't good enough?
No, I don't think so. I think. All right, I'm going to put myself in the seat of the driver of the race car. Brent Sherman had the position. He had the position before they got into the corner. Mario, I think, should have just backed off a little, gave him room. He didn't need to force the issue at that point, at that given point at this time of the race. Like Brent said, it's an early race. We could have waited.
Christy Passmore, the 91 car, back in 21st position after qualifying second. She's a young driver with a great future as well. Don Radebaugh spoke with her.
How'd you get going in the stock car world?
My dad pretty much got me started at a young age in sprint cars, and this is our first year in the ARCA RE Series.
Do you hope to make stock car racing your full-time, perpetual profession?
Yes, that's been an ultimate goal of mine ever since I've been 4 or 5 years old, and my ultimate goal is Winston Cup, like a lot of other drivers in the garage, and that's one thing we're still striving for.
You're leading the rookie points here in the ARCA RE Series. What would it mean to put that on your resume?
I think it would be a good deal, but we got to first finish races, and then at the end of the year, see how it all ends up. So right now, our main goal is just finish races and be consistent.
And she has been consistent here today. The car backed up quickly. She's hung right around in 20th spot, made a pit stop, and getting ready for a restart.
But she has surrounded herself with good people. Bob Shack, one of the best guys in this industry.
Coming up to halfway. This will be lap number 70 of 151. That'll make up the 200-mile distance. We're about 5 laps short of halfway. On board with Frank Kimmel, who started at the back after an engine change in the 46 car. He is up to 3rd on the restart, grabbing high gear down into 1.
Okay, 3rd. And what lap are we on? We're on lap 70. And see, I told you, didn't have to worry.
I never doubted you. Jason Jarrett has played the pit stop game to perfection so far. He is your leader. Goslin in the 12 is 2nd. Here's the 4-time ARCA RE champion Kimmel 3rd in the Advanced Auto Parts Pork the Other White Meat Taurus. 4th spot belongs to Shelby Howard. He's trapped way up high behind some lap traffic.
Yeah, it looks like Shelby's car still pushing a little in the corner.
He'll drop to the bottom now. Mark Gibson there in 6th. He's gained a couple of spots. Put Gibson up behind Tandy Marlin into 5th.
Mark Gibson, this guy amazes me. He's been racing like for 20 years. It always comes over, you know, after practice and whatever. Man, my car's junk. I'm struggling. I'm having all kinds of problems. You know, he doesn't qualify great. They drop the green flag, and this guy's like just all of a sudden, his car comes to life. I don't know if it's him or the car or what, but he's always running good at the end.
There's the 5 car, Clint Boyer, and that machine out of Kansas. We talked about him earlier. Moving by Bill Ebersole. He's got Doug Stevens in the 71 with him. Stevens in 11th, Ebersole in 10th. Boyer was up as high as 3rd earlier. Not a great pit stop for them. They brought that car onto pit road, put tires on it, put fuel in it, sent it back out. Team that's only run 1 previous ARCA race with a different driver. The car owner was in the car at Kansas and wrecked late in the going. They put the young 24-year-old in for his first Speedway start. Qualified toward the front in 7th spot. What a great drive so far. Riding with Ken Weaver. Back in 16th in the 96. Weaver doing a nice job. Started 23rd. He's gained 7 positions. Wayne Anderson, you got a glimpse of Anderson in the 35 going by. This is for the lead. Jason Jarrett in the ML Motorsports Chevrolet down the back straightaway. From 6th to the point. Mario Goslin is reeling him in that 12 car.
Yeah, Mario's car is sticking right down on the bottom. Look when he comes off the corner. It is really, really holding the ground.
Jason not able to keep the 67 down at the bottom at the moment. Goslin sizing him up. There was that contact a moment ago. Goslin and Brent Sherman. And Sherman went for a Wild slide into the wall, back the 44 car in hard. Gosselin emerged unscathed for the most part. Probably has a little bit of damage on the right front corner of the car, but not enough to slow him down as he retakes the lead. Halfway, next time by. And Gosselin is back. Wiggle! Out of 4, big wiggle. There's the 38, the young driver from Minnesota, Jarek Johnson from Faribault. He was well up in the top 15. In fact, being shown 13th at the moment, but he's out of power and dropping down on the access road.
You know, I wonder if there's a little oil on the racetrack, because, you know, all of a sudden this guy's smoking and he's slowing down, and all of a sudden we see a couple cars slipping and sliding. There must be oil on the racetrack.
And there is caution on the speedway. We see the yellow flag from the flag stand. So once again, for the 4th time today, at lap 75, just short of halfway, the yellow flag is again in the air at Nashville. And Johnson in the 38, the first timer in that Pontiac, another young driver who did a terrific job here this weekend.
Yeah, the car is definitely not under power. He will make it back into pit road, though, but they're going to have to go out and see if there was oil on the racetrack.
That could be the problem, as we saw Jason Jarrett pushing high, and we saw Gosselin, after he got the lead out of 4, wiggle big time.
Right.
So the yellow waves once again. 3rd spot, Frank Kimmel from the back. Tandy Marlin sits 4th. Shelby Howard, Andy Belmont. Clint Bowyer in the 5 car. Gibson, Venturini up to 9th, and Stevens back in 10th. So Billy Venturini and the crew have done a good job. Started what, back in 20th?
Started 20th.
Got up to 12th earlier, backpedaled a little. Now they're headed to the front again. And you're running for the championship.
Yeah, we're definitely running for the championship, but I do notice he's coming down pit road.
25 car is on pit road. Of course, we had that long caution a moment ago, so most of the teams elected to stop as the Brent Sherman wreck was cleaned up, but Billy Venturini headed back to the attention of his crew.
Well, you know, this could be a two-way strategy. I don't know if they're just going to put fuel in it. They're going to make a chassis change.
They sure are. Right side of the car, they'll top him off, clean the grill, but they're making a wedge adjustment back.
Yeah, and they're looking at something on the left rear, and they're filling the car up. I know he can run the rest of the race on fuel. I know what they're probably doing. They're probably making an air pressure adjustment on the tire.
And working on the left rear tire there. Who's calling the shots down there for you?
That's Brian Smith. He used to be the #1, Andy Belmont's crew chief. He's now making the calls while I'm up in the booth.
All right, getting set for another restart, closing in on 80 complete at Nashville. Welcome back on Speed, the ARCA RE Series at Nashville. Jason Jarrett, who had been the race leader, decides to come to pit road during this caution for the blown motor in the 38 car. Coming up, a busy stretch for the ARCA RE Series regulars. A couple of dirt track races at the Illinois Fairgrounds in DuQuoin here in August. Winchester on pavement August 30th. You'll see that one live. That's a Saturday night show here on Speed. Chicagoland right after Labor Day, and then Salem, and you'll see that race here on Speed as well on September 13th.
Look at that, August 30th to September 13th, 14 days, 4 races.
Changing left side
Rough
tires.
schedule.
On the ML Motorsports Gladiator Garage Works Chevrolet. And a reminder, be sure and pick up your copy of the ARCA 50th Anniversary Commemorative Hardcover book. It's got all the history, all the stats, all the pictures. Dial them at 1-800-546-8788. Bring it to the racetrack. Bill Venturini, who's a 2-time champion, will be glad to sign the book for you. Your pictures are in there. I've seen them a couple of times.
Yeah, I know. That's back when I was a little skinnier.
Just a little, probably, right? I want to send out a special hello to a guy who's been fighting a good fight. Bob Dotter, who is a 3-time ARCA RE Series champion, headed back home, we understand, after a long bout with cancer. He's going to be with his son, David, and that's a great thing. Bob, hope you're out there today, and we do wish you well as the days move along. Bob, one of those guys who suffered a construction accident many years ago, raced with one arm and a hook on one arm. Very successful.
He was nicknamed the Hook. That's what we called him. He lived about 2 miles from me, right down the street.
He was, today you'd probably have a hard time selling an insurance company on doing that, but back in the day, Mel Kenyon does that still some. And I can remember reading about a guy on the West Coast named Alan Heath, who was called the One-Arm Bandit, who won a ton of sprint car races in the old CRA series many years ago, raced into the 60s. Here's Bowyer in that 5 car back on the pit road. They're going to top him off with fuel. No tires, no adjustment. The car looks terrific. They're going to send him back out and try to get him home the rest of the way, I would imagine, without another stop.
Well, yeah, that's theory. Same thing here with Billy Venturini. They're coming back in. Oh, they're going to pull the windshield tear-offs off, cleaning the grill.
Let's get Don Radebaugh in on this. Don, what's the situation downstairs?
Well, the 25 car came in for a very quick pit stop, their second stop, I believe, under this caution, and all they really did was take on some fuel, as best as I can tell. Looks like Bill Venturini, the 25 car, wants to stretch it to the end.
I have a feeling he doesn't plan on pitting anymore.
Getting ready for a restart. Lead lap cars on the high side, lap traffic on the bottom of the racetrack. That's Gosselin in the blue and orange 12. He has dominated here today, but Frank Kimmel's knocking on the door. Kimmel has sifted his way through the field. He'll restart second in the 46. Tandy Marlin will go third, fourth to Shelby Howard, fifth to Andy Belmont. Great run for Belmont in a place he just hates Nashville.
You know, I was talking to Kimmel about that, and I said, a lot of drivers hate it. And he says, well, I like it. He said, well, you like it because you've won here.
Yeah. Andy Belmont, I think, in the 5 previous trips has wrecked 4 race cars here. But the improvement in the tires that he's brought that you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Bill, has kept everybody pretty much clean this weekend, and Andy has certainly benefited. Back underway, the battle in turn 2 is for the lead. Kimmel breathing down the tailpipe of Mario Gosselin. Here he goes to the inside.
Pulls alongside him, getting into the corner, and makes the move right going into the bottom of 3.
Kimmel dives to the bottom and takes the lead from Gosselin, and now we'll see just how good the 12 car is. Third spot belongs to the 77. Tandy Marlin doing a great job. Shelby Howard in 4th. Belmont is 5th. Mark Gibson is 6th. Your speed strip at the top of the screen showing you where your favorite driver is. As we have passed halfway, we put 81 laps on the board, 70 to go. Gosselin will tuck in the draft now. On board with Kimmel in the Advanced Auto Parts machine. Looking for his 4th win in 6 tries here at Nashville. The series has come here. This is the 3rd year for 2 races at Nashville. And Kimmel is 3 for 5 coming in. That's dominant.
I like those odds.
He was 2nd when we were here in May to Kyle Busch. Mario Gosselin has to be thinking, oh boy, when he saw Kimmel closing in on him, he had to be thinking, what do I do now?
I don't think so. I think, you know, Mario's car is almost as quick. I'm watching him from here, and you can see just in the center of the corner is the only spot right now where Frank's got an advantage on him. But coming off, Mario's car is a little lower, and Frank's is pushing just a little coming off.
Kimmel just a tick quicker on the last lap. The gap is 2/10 from the leader back to 2nd place. 3rd spot, that red 77. That's a former Braun Motorsports machine. Chad Blunt had driven that car last year. It's now in the hands of Tandy Marlin, and he's got it up to 3rd.
Well, that's a good car. Good piece of equipment there.
4th to Shelby Howard and another Dodge, the 64. 5th to Andy Belmont and his Taurus. There's Marlin. Started 10th, up to 3rd. And a battle a little further back. Wayne Anderson in the 35. That's a new team to the inside of the 1 of Belmont. Anderson, of course, raced in the Craftsman Trucks, former All-Pro Series champion. Raced in ASA briefly. For a long time, he was paired with Frankie Grill, the legendary car builder and car owner. They split up a while back, and Wayne trying to rebuild things here with his TC Motorsports group.
Andy Belmont doing a good job of holding him off, though. And I think Andy's just a little too high coming off the corner there.
And he has to back out of the throttle, and Anderson moves to 6th position in that 35. Good run for Wayne Anderson today. From Wildwood, Florida, 2nd-generation star. His dad, Dick Anderson, one of the great Florida late model drivers for many years.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm glad you gave me that, because I'm thinking, man, I know it's not Dick Anderson, but it's Wayne Anderson, his kid. Well, I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say.
Jason Jarrett made time back to 10th after stopping in the 67, right behind Bill Ebersole. In the 08 car, Ebersole in 9th. Christy Passmore in the 91 in the frame there. And here comes the 5, Booyer again from Kansas on the high side. He'll go by Jason Jarrett. That's not easy to do. That is a car that the team purchased from MV2 Motorsports. So that's a former Winston Cup car. And look at Booyer swing that car to the bottom to try to get by Passmore, who's a lap down.
Christy Passmore.
Scott Traylor's team doing a great job for Clint Booyer. Cox up ahead to the 23. He's not on the lead lap either. He's down in 15th position. Let's get an update on Jason Jarrett's situation down to Don Radebaugh.
In that case, let's talk to the crew chief, Scott Eldridge. The car seems to be working quite well. Are you guys coming down pit road again, or are you good to go?
We're going to go on fuel. The Gladiator Garage Works Chevy Monte Carlo is really fast today. We've been a little tight. We just want to make our fuel window. Everybody's pretty patient today. This thing could go green the rest of the way, so we just want to get on fuel.
Have you cured your tight condition?
Yeah, we're a lot better right now. We just got a lot of lap traffic we got to get through.
Okay, I wish them all the best. Jason Jarrett on the move in Nashville.
Plenty of time to go. Closing in on 60 laps remaining here at Nashville. Down into one, Jason Jarrett lapping by Ron Cox's machine. Cox from nearby Sunny Daisy, Tennessee. Frank Kimmel is your leader. Started last in the field. The truck race last night, Carl Edwards turned the trick. We'll see if Kimmel can follow. Welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway. On speed, coverage of the ARCA RE Series. Today, the Waste Management 200 under caution. Once again, because of an incident up in turn 2. As we were just going to break, Bill Ebersol's car got away from him. He got up into the wall and spun the car down on the apron, but he was able to refire. Let's take another look at what happened here. Moving up on Keith Mert. That's Ebersol in the black 08 car. And some contact.
Yeah, the number 50 car.
Brad Payne from Philpott, Kentucky, the Tell City Pretzel Ford. He gave him a pretty good shot.
Yeah, he was kind of lucky that Ebersol was there. Kind of helped him a little because right here, he's loose. And I don't know. I think he got into him first or checked up. That's what caused him to get loose. And Bill Ebersol did a good job of not hitting the wall. Look at that. Slides all the way around. Doesn't make any contact.
Payne also able to avoid backing into the wall. So both of those drivers, and then everybody else had to really make some great moves to avoid it.
Todd Bowser, good job.
Here it is from Ken Weaver's onboard camera, the 1-800-4-PHONE Pontiac down into the turn. He's off the gas. You see the cars go up high. And they teach drivers to turn the wheel to keep the car by the wall, but both those guys let the cars come down the bank.
Yep.
Meantime, caution allows many teams to come to pit road, including the leader Kimmel, second spot. The 12, Mario Gosselin, will bring that machine down on pit road, and the Kimmel crew over the wall. Larry Clement's team, they'll change right sides and fuel that race car. Looks like they're going to go for a 4-tire stop for the driver who's come from the back to the front. As we were going to break, we mentioned Carl Edwards won his third NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series event of the season last night here on Speed here at Nashville, and did it by going from the back to the front after an engine change. In fact, the second straight week Edwards' team did that. Frank Kimmel may be able to make it a double for a rather unusual
Frank's car won't start.
Having to push him. Still hasn't caught. Oh boy, what a tough break for the Kimmel team. Larry Clement's bunch. That car's not running yet. Frank's cranking it.
Got it started.
Did he?
No transmission.
He can't get in gear.
He's got a transmission problem. You can see it.
Oh boy.
Broke a transmission.
Trying to find a gear and launch that car. Now can he put it in gear and restart it and push it?
It ain't gonna go.
Oh, the race leader, Frank Kimmel. The ARCA RE Series champion. Green flag is back in the air. Kimmel is dead in the water at the end of pit road. What a turn of events. Leaving after the pit stop. Broke the gearbox apparently in the 46. We're back underway. Andy Belmont, the restart leader. Tandy Marlin in second. Clint Bowyer in the 5 car is third. Shelby Howard and Billy Venturini are top 5. And we're back underway. I don't know if they can leave the 46 down there. They restarted with them at the end of pit road, and the yellow will be brought back out. Unbelievable turn of events here at Nashville Superspeedway. The 4-time ARCA RE champion Frank Kimmel. 3 wins here in 5 starts. He was the race leader from the back. We were talking about how he'd come from the back to the front after an engine change. Broke the gearbox on pit road, and Bill Kimmel is upset. Not happy.
And I can understand that because they shouldn't have thrown the green flag, but I don't think that's going to be his. He's got a problem. He's not going to get the car fixed. And you mentioned that Andy Belmont was leading. Where is he?
He's being shown on the scoring monitor as the driver at the top of the charts, but I believe when the green came out, he was back in the field. Don Radeball.
Bill Kimmel, what's going on?
He's been complaining. He said his car wasn't staying in gear on restarts. He had to hold it in gear. And evidently the transmission just went out of things, so.
You didn't appear all that happy just a moment ago for what? Why?
Well, they go a quick yellow. The cars are coming in the turn. The car's sitting there and they throw the green. I mean, you don't throw a green flag when you got a car sitting on a racetrack like that.
Is the problem terminal? Would it matter anyway at this point, or do you know?
Oh, we'll do what we can. We're going to go everything we can, so we'll try our best. We keep working. He's hollering now.
Okay, that's Bill Kimmel. He's fired up as usual. That's why they're 4-time ARCA RE/MAX Series champions.
Frank Kimmel being pushed around the racetrack, around the access road. He's gone at least a lap down to the field now, so his chances of winning his 4th race here at Nashville Superspeedway no doubt have gone by the boards, but they'll try to get him back out. A reminder, tomorrow we've got a double dip for you at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. My Classic Car here on Speed, followed by Two Guys Garage. Dave Bowman and the boys at 10 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, only here on Speed. While we're under caution as they retrieve the 46, 95 laps are complete, 56 remaining. We'll be right back at Nashville. Back on Speed, getting set for a restart at Nashville. Safety car dives in. Clint Bowyer, the rookie from Kansas, will lead him to green. Second spot belongs to Jason Jarrett. Coming up on lap 97, a little more than 50 remaining today at Nashville. Frank Kimmel still on pit road, a couple of laps down after breaking the gearbox in the 46. He was the race leader at the time. Bowyer takes him down into turn 1. Jarrett in second spot. Third to Billy Venturini. Fourth spot belongs to the 35 car. Fifth, Shelby Howard on the move. There's Wayne Anderson in the 35, blowing by Venturini in the 25. Billy comes right back at him. Wayne Anderson headed toward the front, up to 4th. His first ARCA RE/MAX start in a long time. Ron Cox in the 23, shown in 12th spot, but he's a lap down.
Well, that's a little deceiving. That last lap time, that was under caution.
Closing in on the 100-lap mark, your leader is Bowyer. Jason Jarrett in second in the ML Motorsports car. Here's Anderson in the 35, lapping by Ron Cox, who has quietly done a good job with a car that's not up to the pace of the leaders, but he's hung right in there. Ron Cox is a very consistent race driver.
Yeah, he's only 1 lap down. He's got a really super car owner, Wayne Hickson. What a nice guy.
11 cars left on the lead lap,
which is also his stepfather.
Cox down through 1 and 2. The Peterson Fluid System Chevrolet today. Billy Venturini in the 25 at 4th spot. He's lapping by Cox on the high side there. The 06 and Goslin in the 12 nearly got into trouble with the 06.
I saw that coming. I thought, where's Mario going to go? There's no room.
The 06 is Jimmy Thiel. He is from Woodhaven, Michigan, the CCIM Met Pontiac. He started back in 39th alongside Kimmel today, so he is the big mover right now. 39th to 6th for the 06. There's Howard. There's Goslin in the 12. Remember that Goslin has led more than 50 laps here today. Had a contact incident with Brent Sherman a while back. That put him behind. They've been to pit road a couple of times, but he's got a fast race car, and Mario trying to get back to the front here. Here comes Shelby Howard, Goslin right behind him. They're lapping by Cox in the 23. Billy Venturini's cars come to life here.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm glad to see it. Running 4th right now, I'm not going to complain.
50 laps remaining in Nashville.
Good run for the Enco Tool Chevrolet.
Bowyer in the 5, second time in an ARCA RE/MAX Series event for the team. First time for the driver at age 24. What a terrific job on a speedway. And Bill is a 2-time champion. We look at Shelby Howard sitting 5th in the 64. They've been fighting a car all day that didn't work. How tough is it to come from the short tracks to the speedways and be leading?
For a young guy, it's tough. You know, I'm sure he's a ball of nerves. He's never done this before. You know, in front of a big crowd, fast cars, and he's leading against some tough guys right now. I'm sure he's a little nervous.
This is for 4th. 3 cars nose to tail. Venturini in the blue 25, Howard in the yellow 64, Goslin in that orange and blue 12, and Mario to the bottom. He'll get by Howard for 5th.
Yeah, out of those 3 cars, Mario is definitely the fastest.
Able to put that car down on the yellow line in the turns.
Yeah, well, he's been doing that all day. And what he's going to do is he's going to open the door for Shelby Howard to try and get underneath Billy Venturini at the same time.
Goslin 5.5 seconds, though, behind the leader, Bowyer, in that Pontiac, the Sonic number 5, who's got almost a second lead over Jason Jarrett in the ML Chevrolet, the 67. There's Shelby Howard up in front of Venturini. They draft down the backstretch here at Nashville. 14th race of the season for the ARCA RE/MAX Series, and we'll have coverage of the run to the championship just about every week here on Speed from here throughout the end of the season at Talladega in September. Shelby Howard in the 64 car. Good run for them today. They have not had the fastest car, but Shelby's done a great job behind the wheel at age 18.
Yeah, yep. You know, I'm just looking at the ARCA regulars right now. Billy Venturini running in what? Running 5th right now. Look at that, or 6th. Look at the ARCA regulars. There's going to be a little point shakeup. There's not going to be a shakeup. Everyone's going to gain some points on Frank Kimmel, but I don't think that's going to really make much of a difference.
They've taken the 46 car back behind the wall. Looks as though they pretty much packed up the pit stall down there. So we had that onboard look a few moments ago where Bill Kimmel was inside the car with Frank. They were trying to get it in gear or get the linkage working again. But from the sound of it, when he couldn't pull it down in gear, you think the gears are going.
He lost the gears, definitely, no doubt about it. You know, especially when he said he had to hold it in gear, you know, on the restarts before, on the pits, you know, parade laps. That's usually a good sign that 4th gear is almost gone, the main shaft. And you can tell when no matter which gear he tried to get it in, the way the transmissions are made today, there's a main shaft that runs the whole length of it. And when you lose that gear, none of your gears will work.
Young driver from Emporia, Kansas in the 5. Clint Bowyer, the leader. He's gained half a second in the last couple of laps on Jason Jarrett. He's got a 2.5 lead now. First-time driver. We saw Kyle Busch win here in May in his first ARCA RE/MAX Series start. Maybe Clint Bowyer could make it 2 for 2. Let's get a pit road update. Don Radebaugh.
With the 46, there's a lot going on down here. They jacked up the left side of the car, had about 4 crew members under the car. Really couldn't get to Frank, but I did holler out the word transmission, and Frank Kimmel shook his head up and down as if to accept that as what's going on there or what's wrong.
Well,
but here they go. They've got it pushed back out, and they're trying to get it going again. But I think I'm not sure that their transmission will let them do that. We'll see.
They've got it back onto pit road. I thought perhaps they had found a way to get the car in gear. Now you can run if he got it perhaps in 3rd or 4th. He can come out and run some laps. Bowyer in the 5 continues to lead. Kimmel is not going to win today here in Nashville. It goes without saying. They're pushing him to try to get the 46 rolling, but it doesn't look as though a valiant effort certainly by the team. But it will be for naught, it appears, here today. This is a great story. Scott Traylor owns this race car, bought the car from MB2 Motorsports, took it to Kansas, drove it himself. He's raced locally on the short tracks. Was running in the top 10, wrecked the car late in the going. And we've got caution on the speedway.
And I'm sure it's because of Kimmel again. You know, he's back out on the end of pit road out there, and the car's stalled. So they're going to have to throw another yellow.
So the caution does wave here at Nashville, and a little surprised, honestly, that when they pushed the car back out there, it wasn't ready to return to the racetrack. Perhaps they had it in gear, thought it'd be okay, and then when Frank tried to take off with it, it just wouldn't go again. But the 4-time ARCA RE/MAX Series champion has stopped again. This is at the end of pit road. This is in the acceleration lane out on the racetrack, really. And so Kimmel still dead in the water, and that brings out the yellow yet again. Well, tomorrow the NASCAR Winston Cup Series is at Watkins Glen, New York, the 2nd road race of the season. And Monday night at 7 o'clock, the boys will be in studio to break it down for you on Inside Winston Cup. Every Monday at 7 Eastern. Alan Bestwick, Johnny Benson, Kenny Schrader, and Michael Waltrip. Join us Monday nights here on Speed. And they brought the hook down to get the 46 off the end of pit road. Don Radebaugh.
Bill Kimmel, can we conclude that the transmission is broke?
Yeah, I think so. Transmission's junk right now. We're trying to get to wedge in 4th gear and keep jumping out. So if we can get it rolling a little bit, he get a couple more laps, maybe we'll just see what happens. It's a shame. The advanced auto parts work hard, run awfully good there at the end. So made some adjustments. Frank was happy, took the lead, and just not our day, Don. It's okay.
All right. Frank was happy. The crew didn't seem all that happy, though. But better days ahead for Frank Kimmel. They won't win here today in Nashville.
So that Taurus being pushed back around the access road for the 2nd time, and the crew will go back to work behind the wall. They've gone several laps down on the pit cart. Going back as well. That's never a good sign. Bill Kimmel and the boys talking, trying to figure out what they'll try next. Here at Nashville, we're under caution. Restart should be coming shortly. We'll be back. Back live on Speed, coverage of the ARCA RE/MAX Series with Bill Venturini. I'm Rick Benjamin. We're at the Waste Management 200 at Nashville Superspeedway, 14th race of the 2003 ARCA RE/MAX Series season. Time to name our Gladiator pit stop of the race. It goes to Mario Gosselin's 12 team. And Bill, they have certainly battled through a lot of adversity. Blown motors, no sleep, long haul, you name it. This team has fought through it, and the pit crew has done an excellent job, and they earn the honors for our Gladiator pit stop of the race here today at Nashville. Hard to argue with that.
Well, and good driver, good team. Him and his brother, Jermaine.
Yep.
Yeah, Jermaine. You know, French Canadians, very nice people.
From Saint Marie, Quebec, originally.
They are workaholics. I got to tell you that.
Well, he's a super story. They call him Super Mario for good reason. Fast everywhere he goes. One of those guys you look at and you think, you know, how come he hasn't gotten a real opportunity at the big time? But he wins everywhere.
Yeah, well, you know, he's hoping that his new sponsor, McAfee Mortgage, who's been on board for the last couple races, you know, they're talking about maybe upping some stuff for next year. I talked to Mario. He said, I'd love to run with you guys full time, but you know, if I can only get a deal for 10 races, that's what I'll do. But if McAfee will step it up, we'll run the whole season. And I said, no.
Meantime, let's get an update on the 5-car. And Clint Bowyer at the head of the pack down right above. They were pulling away when we went to caution. What's the story down there?
Well, for sure, let's get the update. It's such a great story. Let's talk to the crew chief, Trent Owens. You guys up front, his first career start, not only in ARCA, but first ever on a super speedway. This is incredible. Can you win this thing?
Yeah, we can win it. It looks like the 12 just put on tires, so if the race goes green the rest of the way, I think we'll be in good shape to win this. You know, the kid's doing a good job. Appreciate Sonic and all their help. It's just phenomenal, the feel that the kid has for a race car that allows me to work on the thing and make it faster. So everything's going good at this point.
Well, the 12 just took tires. When's the last time you took tires?
We took tires back on lap 70. We topped off around 85 or so we can get all the way to the end on gas. Our tires are going to be used up, but hopefully we can build a strong enough lead to hang on.
Wow, this is incredible. We mentioned that Clint Bowyer, the leader here, was a winner or champion at I-70 Speedway last year. He was also the champion at Lakeside Speedway last year in a dirt modified division. That was Trent Owens, by the way, the crew chief. He is the stepson of Barry Dodson. His mother, Jan Dodson, who was one time married to Randy Owens, who was Richard Petty's wife Linda's brother.
I don't have a family tree chart that's big enough to take all that in.
Hey, Don, I got to give you credit because I knew that, and I was surprised someone else knew that.
I'm catching on after all these years.
Great story. Trent, of course, is driven in ARCA. He's driven in the Craftsman trucks.
And he's run in the Hooters Pro Cup Series.
Getting ready to restart. Bowyer in the 5. The Sonic Restaurants Pontiac is the restart leader on lap 114. 37 trips to go, and we're back underway. Can he hold off the veterans? Jason Jarrett restarts second. Wayne Anderson in that 35 car. He's a guy to watch, certainly. He is coming up through there in that Pontiac. He is third.
And who's right behind him is Mario Goslin.
Mario Goslin in the 12, restarting fourth. Shelby Howard is fifth in line. Billy Venturini with a great ride to sixth, and Mark Gibson is seventh. As we go back to green, your race summary, top left of your screen. The speed strip, as always, shows you where your favorite driver's running here at the Nashville Superspeedway. I was going to say, Barry Dodson, broadcast colleague of ours, I know he's watching with great interest today. And Trent is doing a terrific job calling the race from the pit box for Clint Bowyer. Back in the pack a little bit, watching Shelby Howard in the 64. Trying to get going. Christy Passmore in the 91 car, lap down. But she is up to 13th, so she's taken advantage. A lot of cars have gone to pit road a couple of times. She's stayed out, and she's starting to move back up again. She's gotten by Andy Belmont in the 1, and Belmont was her mentor a year ago, provided a car for her in a half a dozen ARCA RE/MAX series.
Yep, Andy's one lap down, which he, at one point, I don't know how he ended up a lap down. He was running with the leaders, and also he was a lap down.
Wayne Anderson, Mario Goslin fight it out for third. Boy, there's a couple of guys who've raced against each other more than once. This is not their first turkey shoot. Couple of guys from Florida, Mario from Quebec, but he's been racing out of Florida for many, many years now. And they have run against each other in Florida late model competition for a long time.
I'm impressed with this Clint Bowyer kid.
Yeah, you have to be.
I got to be. You know, he first of all gets a good sponsor, Sonic, which is hard to do because you got to sell a sponsor on what you can do, and the kid's proven he can run up front.
Goslin in the 12, led early here today, nearly 50 laps at the point in that 12 car. Trying to solve the mystery of how to pass Wayne Anderson. Not an easy guy to get by.
Now let's see. I noticed Mario has tried high, he's tried low, now he's stuck right down on the bottom. He's got a good run on him now coming off the corner here.
Through the tri-oval for third spot. Anderson and Goslin in the 12, and Goslin will get by him. So Super Mario takes third back. He's about a second behind the lead 2 cars. Jason Jarrett has closed to within 4/10 of Bowyer in the 5.
Actually, Jason Jarrett's closing pretty good right now.
They're down in turn 3 as we watch Goslin on the backstretch. Here's the gap between the top 2 cars. Jason Jarrett, one career ARCA RE Series victory, second in points coming in here this weekend. In 13 races, 10 top 10s, 4 top 5s. Still looking for his first win of 2003.
He didn't close it up 100th of a second right now. It's staying there almost exact.
Blake Boyer from Kansas in car number 5. Trent Owen up on the pit box. Two laps remain today at Nashville. Good battle up in front. Frank Kimmel's bunch, 46 still behind the wall, still unable to get the car into gear and get it back out. And what a heartbreak for Frank and Bill Kimmel and the Larry Clement team. They had come from the back to the front. They were leading, seemingly had nothing to worry about. Came to pit road for really kind of an optional stop if you think about it. They probably didn't have to come to pit road.
Yeah, I don't know if we're coming down pit road and trying to leave is what broke the transmission or not, but you're right. You know, it's kind of questionable call. Did he really need to come down? But maybe that's why he came down, was because he knew he was having transmission problems. Hard to say.
Top 2 cars, the 5 and the 67. Well, what it would mean to Jason Jarrett and the entire Jarrett family if he could score a win here today. It has not been the best of years for his dad, former Cup champion Dale Jarrett, of course. The UPS team, and Jason searching for his first win since 2001 here in the ARCA RE Series. Sure Ned's watching as well back home in North Carolina. Jason reeling in the leader. 30 to go. The gap 2/10 last time by.
He's closed it up a little.
Tandy Marlin has fallen back to 6th. 7th spot to Doug Stevens in the 71. Mark Gibson back to 8th. Billy Venturini back to 9th. And the 06 car, Jimmy Thiel, who started back at 39th, sits in 10th. It's been a great day for that team. Top 2 are on the backstretch. Clint Boyer from Kansas in car number 5. First time out in the ARCA RE Series. A team that has only run one previous race. And he's been at the top of the charts now for 27 laps.
I guess the pressure's not getting to the kid.
Some people are just naturals at this point.
And now it's down to 1400ths of a second. Jason is starting to put the pressure on him.
Plenty of time. 28 laps remain. Bottom of the backstretch. 3rd spot is another second back. Mario Gosselin in that position. And he is making a dent in the leader as well.
And he started to stretch it out a little now, it looks like.
Maybe Boyer was saving a little bit in the car when he saw the 67 get pretty full in his mirror. Said, hey, I better put it back down.
Yeah, he gained 0.4 of a second that lap.
Now the gap backed up to half a second between the 2nd place car, the 67 of Jarrett, and the leader, the 5 of Boyer. Here's Gosselin in the 1-800 Florida Lone 1, number 12. They lap by the 28, Mike Buckley's car from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Clint Boyer with a couple of championships in his first year in stock cars on the short tracks in Kansas City yet last year.
Looks to me like Mario is starting to close it up just a little.
He is. Gosselin in the 12 isn't done yet. So it could be a great 3-car shootout to the end here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Here's your leader in the 5, Boyer. Jason Jarrett back 8 or 9 car lengths now. He was just a car length back a couple of laps ago.
Yep.
Let's get an update from pit road. Don Radeball, you're in the ML Motorsports pit. What's the situation?
I am indeed. The 67 car got close at one time. He fell back a little. Can you get him? Can you pass him? What's the situation?
Well, I graduate Chevy Monte Carlo right now. We're as good as he is. We just get a little aero tight. Right now with the lap traffic, you got to catch him right. We kind of lost him down and we kind of gained some in lap traffic.
When's the last time you guys took tires?
It's been a while ago. I mean, we quick pitted on lap 82, knowing we could make it on fuel. The 5 car did the same thing we did.
Okay, that's what I thought. It looks like at least the 5 car and the 67 car are with the same plans, the tires that are about the same amount in terms of age.
Now, Gosselin has pitted more recently than lap 82, so he may be in the best position of anybody among the top 3. Gosselin pitted a couple of times on the last 2 cautions. They filled the car up with fuel, made some adjustments. Shelby Howard starting to reel in Wayne Anderson, who is 4th in the 35. Howard 5th in the 64. Tandy Marlin is 6th. Doug Stevens is 7th. Mark Gibson 8th. Jimmy Thiel in the 06 is 9th, and Billy Venturini backpedaling to 10th on the 25.
Yeah, it looks like the 25 car's got problems. He's slowing down the back straightaway.
Now that's the last engine your team has, you were telling me.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
With all the races coming up, that is not a good sign at all. Down the back straightaway, Jason Jarrett starting to close it back up again on the 5. Clint Boyer has hardly put a wheel wrong here today. That car's handling well. He's able to keep it at the bottom of the racetrack. He's navigated lap traffic very well because in this event of the ARCA Rematch Series, you've got only 11 cars left on the lead lap. So he's been in lap traffic much of the day.
Yep.
Since he took the lead anyway from the 46 of Kimmel. There'll be 21 laps to go next time by. Top 3 almost nose to tail now with lap traffic. You can see Venturini's blue 25 way off the pace on the bottom. He's on the access road, headed to pit road. Jason Jarrett slips up high. That gives Mario Goslin an opportunity. 3 wide through the tri-oval for second spot. And Goslin gets by him. Mario Goslin drives the 12 car back to second. Great move. Use that lap car to pick off the 67.
We saw it earlier. Mario was closing in on him.
And here is Venturini bringing their Monte Carlo down to pit road. Looks as though he may have it shut off. Very warm day here at Nashville. Temperature in the 80s, but a lot of humidity. Feels almost 100 degrees. Laps are winding down. We'll be back. Back live from Nashville Superspeedway here on Speed with Bill Venturini. I'm Rick Benjamin. Coverage of the ARCA Rematch Series. Kim Crosby in the 00 on pit road. She was way off the pace. Think she might have spun in turn 4, Bill. That was the reason for the caution.
Yeah,
because the car and put right side.
Because they're not going under the hood.
Meantime, the 25 done for the day to Don Radeball.
To Billy Venturini, what happened?
Well, most of our program has been real strong of late, but there's been certain parts that's been a little bit lacking, and you know, we can't compete in the points with stuff like that with DNFs. I mean, my race car and my team is doing a fantastic job, and I'm so proud of my guys. We qualified 20th, and really we were waiting for tires, and I think we had a 5th place car. It's just a little bit frustrating because crew and I feel driver and I feel everyone at this end is doing their job, but not everyone in the whole program. And
when you say not everyone in the whole program, are we referring to the motor section?
I'd rather not say. But 3 DNFs in the last 5 races, I mean, speaks for itself. It's just frustrating because we finally got our car running really well on these intermediate tracks. I want to thank Ron Reedy from Hendrick Motorsports, Enco, and Gladiator Garage Works. And without all them, I couldn't be competitive like this.
Okay, that's Billy Venturini. If it is a motor, you got a lot of work to do, Bill, because you've got the Springfield Dirt Mile coming next Sunday.
5 races in a couple of weeks' time coming up.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do right now. But, you know, that's racing.
There you go. I'm sure another motor will find its way under the hood of the 25 before next weekend. Back underway. 16 laps remain at Nashville Superspeedway. Clint Boyer in the 5 is your restart leader. Mario Goslin second in car number 12. Jason Jarrett is third. Shelby Howard, Wayne Anderson, the top 5. Scrambling back there for positions. Here's Tandy Marlin swinging to the inside of Jarrett. Marlin in the 77 wants to move up into the top 3 or 4 here. Top 2 cars through the trial. Mario Goslin 4/10 behind the race leader. Remember, he led more than 40 laps earlier. Wayne Anderson in the 35 car, now in 5th. Tandy Marlin with a big move on the restart up to 4th in that 77. Jason Jarrett back all the way to 6th. They are falling off the pace.
Yeah, well, you know, what did he say? They were waiting on tires. They didn't have, you know, they have the oldest tires, I think, out of anybody on the racetrack right now. And now it's starting to show.
Tandy Marlin, a cousin, of course, of Sterling Marlin, races out of Franklin, Tennessee. We see him a couple of times a year. Good equipment, fast race car, very good driver, up to 4th. Young Shelby Howard, 18 years of age in that Mack Truck 64. 2 wins already on the season. Strong situation
running
in the
third
points.
right now, yeah. Oh, the points are definitely going to shake up now.
Shelby is 6th in the standings coming in with Frank Kimmel going behind the wall while leading. This gives Howard an opportunity to gain some ground on the drivers in front of him.
Well, Brent Sherman,
behind the wall also.
Brent Sherman and Billy are definitely going to drop into points right now.
Howard running in 3rd spot. 2 leaders are about a 2nd and 3/10 ahead of the 3rd place battle. Tandy Marlin trying to reel in Shelby Howard. 2 of the only Dodges in the field here this weekend. This is the battle for the lead, the 5 and the 12. Lap car is in the middle there, and there's Howard, Marlin, and Anderson, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Wayne Anderson in that red 35, that Monte Carlo.
Right behind them in the number 71, the yellow car. He's running 6th right now.
Yeah, Doug Stevens in the Jasper Engines 4th. Good run for Stevens.
And he's closing on the 35.
Qualified in 9th spot from Lovejoy, Georgia. Wayne Anderson from Wildwood, Florida. To the bottom of the racetrack, thinking maybe he can get a run on Tandy Marlin off of turn 2. Up in front, Gosselin closing the gap ever so slowly on Clint Bowyer. Coming up, 11 laps to go this time by. And Bowyer closed the deal in his first ARCA RE/MAX Series start for a team that's only run one previous race. Mario Gosselin knows how to do that, right? He won his first start.
But I'm looking at the situation here. I think Mario is holding the cards. I mean, I may be wrong, but I think Mario's going to pressure him unless he gets that dreaded arrow push when he gets underneath him.
Bowyer stretches the lead out. A couple more car lengths down into 3. Lap traffic ahead. Gosselin has one advantage. He's able to turn that car to that 12 to the bottom of the racetrack. Just about
right there, right on the bottom.
They lap by Norm Benning and his Chevrolet, the 84. 10 laps to go at Nashville. Top 2 cars separated by a couple of car lengths. Gosselin has shown himself capable of leading. Bowyer in the 5 took the lead when Frank Kimmel broke the transmission and went behind the wall in the 46. Mario Gosselin sizing up the opposition. He certainly has the advantage of experience.
Right here in the center of the corner now is when Mario closes it up because he's able to keep his car right down at the bottom. But as they get into the corner, Clint's able to just kind of gain, but well, watch right here. What it is. Oh, so see, Mario's car usually pushes, but he's right underneath them.
For the lead, Gosselin in the 12, trying to go to the bottom and get by the young Kansan in the 5 car. He's got a run on him down the backstretch and takes the lead back.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet he hasn't.
Bowyer right back at him in the 5. Gosselin moves to the front. Now we'll see what Bowyer does in the draft.
I think he's in trouble right. Oh, I thought
he's going to stay up alongside him. Boy, that's guts.
I was going to say, I think he's in trouble now because his car is going to pick up that arrow push if he gets tucked in behind Mario. But he's
side by side. Bowyer not giving up anything here down the backstretch with 8 to go. What a great run. Now can he loosen up Gosselin and get to the bottom?
Nobody's been able to do that yet today. So Mario's car is just stuck to the bottom.
Remember, as we pointed out a few laps back, Gosselin has been to pit road more recently. Can't recall for sure, but I believe they did take at least right side tires.
And it was on lap 85 or something like that.
Bowyer stopped at lap 82. He and Jason Jarrett were on the same pit stop cycle. Gosselin has been to pit road a couple of times since then, so you know that he's at least been able to adjust on the car. Now Jason Jarrett coming back, and Wayne Anderson. This is for 6th. They're side by side in turn 3, and Jason Jarrett goes to the bottom and by. So Jarrett, who was up in 2nd not too long ago, backpedaled quite a bit. Now starting to come to life again as we get into the last 10 laps.
Six laps to go.
We're being told that Mario Gosselin's last pit stop came on lap 91, so 9 laps pressure is Gosselin's car. For 3rd spot, Shelby Howard has the spot. He's gotten by Tandy Marlin. Marlin coming right back at him. Marlin in the red 77, Howard in the 64.
The 2 Dodges running bumper to bumper right now.
5 laps to go at Nashville, 5 to go. Onto the backstretch, the battle for 3rd, very intense right now. Just a car length separating the 2 Intrepids. Leader continues to be Mario Gosselin, half a second to the good over Clint Bowyer.
Good run for Tandy Marlin.
Oh yeah,
Shelby Howard.
Doug Stevens is right there in the Jasper Ford, the 71. Up into 5th in that Taurus machine. And gaining ground. He's able to run at the bottom of the racetrack. He may have something here in the last couple of laps. 4 to go. Never good to see a champion like Frank Kimmel go behind the wall, but it does open up things to a lot of other drivers.
It sure made the race a whole lot more interesting. You're right.
Still battling for fourth. Marlin in the 77, but this time he's battling with Stevens in the yellow 71. Shelby Howard in third is pulling away. Jason Jarrett back there in sixth in the purple 67. Mario Gosselin trying to close the deal in the 12 car. He's opened up a good lead over the 5 of Boyer. There's Gosselin. 2 laps to go. This time by, he gets the 2 to go signal.
And he's stretching it out.
Yes, he is. But I'll tell you, Clint Boyer, what a great drive. What a great effort for that team. Just their second time out. The 24 car, Chuck Weber's machine, showing some smoke down the backstretch. Norm Benning in the middle there, getting lapped again. This is Brad Smith in the 26 out of Michigan. And Gosselin will see the white flag this time by. Toughest couple of miles in racing. You've got a good lead, nobody near you, but you've got to lap some other cars. You see smoke showing from one of them. It's got to make you think.
Yeah, and you're right now he's hearing vibrations. Says, oh man, the motor maybe lay it down. You know, maybe I got a tire going flat. Nah, Mario's a veteran. He knows what it's like to win.
Down the back straightaway for the final time at Nashville. No surprise, really, although you might not be familiar with Mario Gosselin. Let's check back in on the battle for fourth. That's Marlin in the 77. Stevens trying to race by him on the bottom. I think he's going to get him in turn 4.
Yeah.
But coming to the trial, well, your winner will be Mario Gosselin. Second spot to Clint Boyer in the 5. Third to Shelby Howard. Fourth spot goes to Doug Stevens. He did get by.
And so did Jason Jarrett got by Tandy Marlin.
Marlin slipped way up the racetrack in turn 4, and that opened the door. So give fourth spot to Stevens, fifth to Jason Jarrett, sixth is Tandy Marlin. Downstairs to Don Radeball.
With Jermaine Gosselin, brother of Super Mario, who was quite super today. Congratulations. How's it feel to be in victory lane or headed that way?
Feels very good. We got the McAfee mortgage there already, and had a little push. It bust the fender a little bit, but it finally got in the front, and it got better.
You guys are from Sainte Marie, Quebec. Can you give us a little in French?
I can say hi to all my friends up there.
I'm sure they're all watching. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So the Gosselin brothers take the 12 to victory lane. Super Mario says, hey, a couple of donuts are in order for dessert today here at Nashville. We'll be back. Talk to the winner in victory lane when we continue at Nashville Superspeedway. Our Speed Channel coverage of the ARCA RE/MAX Series today has been brought to you by RE/MAX. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. And by Gladiator Garage Works. Gladiator Garage Works is the official garage of ARCA. Proud to announce that the Gladiator of the race winner is Clint Boyer, who finished second today. Gladiator, it's time to rethink the garage. Downstairs to victory lane and Don Radeball.
Looking for Super Mario Gosselin, hoping to get him out of the car just as soon as we can. This is a very, very big day, of course. You know, you must realize this is Mario's only his 8th series start. Been on the pole twice at Charlotte, won in his first series start back in 1999 at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Doesn't show up all that much, but when he shows up, Super Mario always lets him know he's there. And he's here today in victory lane. He holds that. Isn't that cool? That the trophy here at Nashville Superspeedway is an electric Gibson guitar here in the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. Super Mario Gosselin, congratulations. That car was a rocket. It looked like it was from my angle. How was it from yours?
I got to tell you what, had an awesome car. McAfee Mortgage, come on board, made this possible. Maybe this will help sign them on for a full-time deal next year. You know, home loan or refinance, McAfee Mortgage. I got to thank Mike Bell, Billy Hess, Penske Shocks, Progressive Racing Engines. These guys worked day and night to put this thing together. Had a part failure at Pocono, and I tell you what, American Discount Air Conditioning, Hoosier, ARCA, Auto Electric. I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but I'm out of breath.
Let me add one. How about Super Mario Gosselin in victory lane and only his 8th series start at Nashville Superspeedway?
Playing a winning tune today at Nashville. Great to see Gosselin, your winner. Boyer in second in the 5. What a great run.
Shelby Howard third, and Jason Jarrett ended up 5th.
Wayne Anderson finishes in 7th spot, right behind Tandy Marlin. Mark Gibson and Jimmy Field from the back of the field from 39th to 9th.
Good run. Bill Eversole rounds out the top 10.
Christy Passmore finishes 11th. She was deep as far as 20th after starting on the outside pole. She did a great job to get an 11th here. Keith Mert, Ken Weaver, Belmont, Brad Payne, Clint Voss-Schultz, Carl McCormick, Todd Bowser rounds out the first 20. Ron Cox had problems at the end because he was up in 12th earlier. As Chris Komelander and Brad Smith, Josh Weston rounds out the first 30. Billy Venturini takes a big hit today, 27th in the 25 car. And how about Frank Kimmel, 31st for the points leader?
Yeah, but he can afford it. He has a good cushion.
Lead.
He's got a good cushion.
Brent Sherman, the guy who may take the biggest pounding of all, 33rd after that wreck. Darrell Sage, who started on the pole in the 29, ends up 35th behind David Keith. Alan Patterson, Brian Kahns, Tim Mitchell rounding out the field today here in the ARCA RE Series at Nashville Superspeedway. Great run for Mario Gosselin in the 12. Not really a surprise if you know his track record in other series.
No, I agree, but didn't I tell you we'd have a good race because they brought a good tire and had a lot of grip. Made it exciting.
Let's talk to our second place finisher. Back downstairs to Don.
Yeah, we really ought to. Seems how he had such a great afternoon. Your career first start. Clinton Boyer, how do you feel? Did you have any idea you had a car good enough to finish up front? The driver as well, your first start.
Well, I'll tell you what, I knew I had a good enough car, but I didn't know about the driver. He hold it in his end of the deal, but it was real cool. Just a neat time, First time out here, 12 car had a little bit better tires there at the end. Otherwise, I think we could have won the deal. We was about out of gas there at the end, started running out of fuel pressure, and basically it was just fuel mileage racing name. I'd like to thank the Kansas City area Sonic Drive-Ins, all my crew, my car owners, Scott Trailer and his wife Sharon, everybody. I mean, it's a team effort. The crew chief Trent Owens, he came on board for this deal. He brought Scott and Eddie down. Just awesome run for everybody.
Indeed it was. How about that for Clint Boyer, runner-up today at Nashville.
Terrific effort indeed for that team and that young driver, and we look forward to seeing him back in the ARCA RE Series. We've got plenty more coverage of the ARCA RE Series to come your way. In fact, we'll be at Winchester Speedway in Indiana later this month on August 30th on a Saturday night show. We'll be live with you here on Speed. All the motorsports news you need 24/7 at speedtv.com. For Bill Venturini and Don Radebaugh, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our winner today, Mario Gosselin. We'll talk to you next time here on Speed.